Morning, fellas. Cable Guy Ken here. I was working on this little bivy bag for my wife, and I decided I'd show y'all some of the steps. Let me back the camera up here and see if I can't show you where I'm at so far. Excuse me while I bang around a little bit, knock y'all around. What I've done, I've got some of this poly nylon, like taffeta type material. It's really lightweight, really strong. Yes, it is a bright Here I Am orange, but like I said, this is for my wife. I'm going to actually go back and put some striping on this to make it almost look like a tiger stripe for her, because we're Tiger fans. We're like Clemson Tigers. But what I've taken is about 3-foot width by about 12-foot long section of fabric. I went ahead and just sewed a seam on the bottom. Now, I am no tailor. This is a brand new sewing machine. I'll show it to you in a minute. I hadn't sewn anything in probably 25 years. I actually used to make clothes with my mom. We had to make the clothes we were going to wear to school. Not poor mouthing. We were just, you know, that's how we did things back then. But I folded a seam at the bottom, and I folded over both seams on one side and sewed them. And now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to roll down and sew this side seam over here together all the way at the end. And get it gathered right there. I'm going to sew this section here together all the way down, so in the front to the back. Now this side I've left open for right now. I just folded the seam over and sewed it so that it'll have a nicer, you know, a nice edge on the outside. But let's get to sewing this thing here and see what we got, and I'll show you what I came up with. Like I said, I just kind of thought about this in my mind. I'm not really measuring anything, not exact measurements anyway. Make sure y'all can see this. It's a beautiful day outside today, y'all. It's kind of cool, but I've been promising my wife I'd finish the blanket that I was making her and this. So I'm stuck in the house. Of course, I'll probably throw this in the hammock here in a little while just to see how it works. And I'm not using any real strong thread. I've got some strong thread for when I start making my tarp later on. But this is just a real heavy nylon thread that I'm using here right now. Polyester nylon thread. And all I want to do is just keep these edges as close to being the same as I can. Of course, when you start out with your first sets of stitches, you want to do a couple of back stitches with your reverse button. Some of them have it in a knob over here. It just kind of strengthens that end seam, so you don't have to worry about coming undone later on. And then we just follow on along here. Cool thing is, my old sewing machine didn't have all these fancy guides and marks and lines. Just pick this one up. It's a Singer Simple. I forget what model it is, but I paid $100 for this at Walmart. It'll do my buttonholes and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm kind of happy with it. Now, unlike using nylon, you don't necessarily have to keep tension on the back edge of this fabric like I'm doing, but it helps me keep it straight, especially since I don't have a lot of room to work with, and this is a huge piece of fabric, so I'm having to kind of keep it pulled straight and keep it pulled tight all the way across while I'm doing this. Little off kilter here. Like this is a huge, you know, you're talking 6-7 foot that I'm trying to hold straight here as I go along, and I've only got about 2 foot of table to work with here. here's what we got, folks. I've got a bivy bag. This is the bottom seam that I sewed in it before I started the video. There's my seam that I just sewed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this side seam that I've left open temporarily. I'm going to sew this seam up to about here. So roughly about 2 foot, just enough to close it up around your feet. Now, I've already got this side seamed from where I did it earlier. So now all I want to do is fold this over until I meet up with the seam on this side that I put in it originally. So about right here, maybe just a little bit above that, and we're just going to fold that over. And so we want it to be straight, you know, we want it to be pretty even. We're not worried about it being perfect, but pretty even. So we're going to say about that big of a pillow, just enough to pop your head on, and then we're going to sew this seam down to lock it in place. And again, I just want to, get it close as I can and do those back stitches, trying to stay on that same seam. But if I don't, it doesn't have to look beautiful. My wife is gonna love it. Alright, so we've got a nice little pocket here for a pillow, and we're just gonna seal that up by get this stretched out here. So now you've got a little pocket here you can put you some stuff in there to, make you a little pillow to sleep on. Alright guys, just made a little pouch right here. I'm not going to put any drawstrings or anything like that on it. You can tie it off with a little half hitch of rope at the top if you needed to, but got a little pouch here. I'm going to sew this on the foot of my little bivy bag, right about in the middle. Up a little bit here. So I'm going to sew it in probably about right here, and all I'm going to do is fold this seam over and sew it to the back of it like so. That way I'm not taking up any of my inside space. I don't have a flap on the inside to get in your way. And it should pack down in this bag fairly decent. This stuff, packs pretty good. So let me get that sewn on there. I'm running out of recording time here on my camera. Let me get that sewn on real quick, and then I'll get back and show you what I got finished product. All right, brother.